All right, all right, all right. You are now rocking with the best, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, exhilarating episode of the and new wrestling podcast. I am, of course, your host, KD Drummond. I am here with the rest of the four horsemen. Let's go around the table, introduce yourselves to the people. What's going on, No C?
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's the greatest professional wrestling coverage on God's green earth. I am Patrick No C Walker, aka the Kayfabe, and you are watching and new wrestling. Let's go.
Swing it over to my man, Josh.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Josh Rodriguez of Film School University. Let's go.
Let's go. And last but certainly not least is the one and only Mr. Steele.
I got a different question for y'all this week.
What's up?
Okay.
Are you ready?
I was ready to start.
He went Triple H
barking.
I know you're ready for the bark. We'll bring it back next week.
Yeah, he went Triple H this time. He went Triple H this time.
I understand.
Fantasy booking today.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm talk about. So yeah, I'm glad that you're tuned up and tuned in, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for all of our followers, for all of our viewers. If you are not following us on Twitter, on TikTok, it is And New Wrestling. If you are on Instagram, And New Wrestling Pod, and of course, you should be subscribing on YouTube for And New Wrestling. Make sure you smash that notification button so you do not miss any of the content that we are bringing to you on a regular basis over there. We are going to start today with a bit of a news roundup because we had a very interesting couple of days following the PLE weekend. And we're going to touch base on the PLE later on in the show, but some very serious news. We lost two of our big boys, and y'all know that I'm, partial to the big boy wrestling, and we lost two of our big boys for much different reasons. First and foremost, we lost Bronson Reed due to COVID, so quick recovery. He had to bow out of the Intercontinental Triple Play match on Monday Night Raw to get to the Fatal 4-Way to face off against Braun Breaker, the current Intercontinental champ. So hopefully Bronson Reed's situation is mild and it's not a serious batch of COVID. So by all means, please let this be a reminder to you to pay special attention and keep yourself safe and your loved ones safe throughout all of this. The other one is a lot more serious because it deals with Odyssey Jones, who was becoming a huge star. He debuted a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Raw after being brought up to the big brand over a year ago and basically being in the dark for almost like 8 months, maybe even longer than that. But he was mysteriously absent from last week's Monday Night Raw. And then last night, we're recording on Tuesday, word started to get around that he had been removed from the WWE website. So investigations happened and come to find out that he has now officially been released from the WWE. The cause is that he has been accused allegedly of domestic violence, and we do not have many particulars, so we are not going to get into the muddy waters as far as that's concerned. But the reporting is that he has been released from his WWE contract due to a domestic violence allegation. So we will leave it at that, but that is not our only news that we have to discuss. This is something hopefully to turn the tide to a bit more positive news. We have word that Charlotte Flair is going to be back in short order before the beginning of the year, and it has been reported that she is coming back to the Blue brand and going to be pointed straight at both Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. Whatever way that championship falls at the time that she returns, that's the direction she's going. And I know how No C feels about Charlotte Flair. I'm going to turn it over to you for an instant reaction to that news.
Just blessings. Won't he do it? Won't he do it, ladies and gentlemen? Charlotte Flair, my queen is officially on the way back. And we talked about this a couple episodes ago. We were talking about, trying to set up for, or how the WWE would try to set up for the Netflix era, the start of the Netflix era. And I said, hey, one of the perfect ways to do it, Katie, you kind of threw it out there. You said, well, what kind of shuffle will we be looking at? And, could one brand lose somebody big like the Raw, Raw lose someone big to SmackDown, but then how would you compensate that? And I was saying, hey, well, Charlotte's not back yet. Be a perfect opportunity to bring her back toward January and let her kind of help usher in the Netflix era. But, and on the heels of us having that discussion, because, apparently we are really good at this, covering wrestling shit. So yeah, there's that. Charlotte Flair is on the way back. Yeah. So matter of fact, no, we're gonna do this right for Charlotte. Woo!
There you go.
Charlotte is on the way back. You know, she suffered a torn ACL and more than that. Basically, she blew her knee out several months ago. She's been rehabbing like a demon ever since. She dropped a few hints as far as lately, you know, for her potential return. I know back in, I want to say July, she posted a picture of her boots that she was lacing up because she was about to get in the ring and train for that. But I can't stress enough how excited I am to see the Queen making a comeback. It's going to be an insane freaking pop. Anybody that gets in her way is going to be in trouble. Nia Jax, you might just move and just get out of her way, because this is not the smoke you want. And I know that you didn't say, Katie, that she's going to be aimed at a particular couple of people that I'm about to say, but I need it to happen. I need her aimed at Rhea Ripley, and I need her aimed at Jade Cargill, and I need that ASAP. So yes, first and foremost, shouts out to the Queen for her long and arduous journey. She is on the verge of coming back from a devastating knee injury. She's about to wreck shop, just like she was in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14 times that she's held that goddamn belt.
Listen, Flair injured her ACL, her MCL, her meniscus, her thigh bone is no longer connected to her shin bone. Like, she blew that sucker out, right?
Blew it out.
So
I thought wrestling was fake.
Look, don't ask Miss Sane about
Kyrie Sane.
Yeah, don't ask her about.
Hell, don't ask Dom about it either with that plum that he had on his eye.
Listen, yeah, Rhea clocked him good on that one. I have a question. I'm going to use that news roundup to dovetail into the conversation of the day, because
are we done with Charlotte Flair conversation?
No. This is
okay.
this, we can definitely get.
We'll say he won't in.
Yeah, you. As a matter of fact, yeah. Let me go ahead and give you your 2 minutes on Charlotte Flair.
When I heard about Charlotte Flair, the first thing I thought was,
oh my God, bro.
Okay. Shouts out to Charlotte Flair returning from injury. She's amazing. She's one of the greatest to do it for the women's.
This sounds like a butt.
I've seen this same story like 10 times. Swear to God, Pat. Let me just say this. I don't want to see Charlotte Flair get ushered right back into the championship picture without having to fight for it. Because every single time she does that, she takes the belt off somebody, and she probably should take it off of Nia Jax, because that's just, Nia Jax.
Exactly. But continue.
But she takes it off them. She has this very mediocre run. She gets hurt. She has to swap belts, has to go somewhere, and we're right back into she gets hurt, comes back. Charlotte Flair, big pop. I'm sick of it. So I'm just, because it's the same thing over and over and over with Charlotte Flair. And look, this doesn't take away from who she is as a wrestler, but I would love to see her. I would love for them to do some type of Sami Zayn situation where she just keeps trying to get it and she can't. She keeps trying to get it and there's something in her way that's not an injury. She keeps trying to get it and there's no belt swap or anything. And then finally she gets it, breaks a record, whatever it may be. She may already have the record, by the way. But then the pop will be meaningful. If she comes back, throws in the picture, and she destroys a Tiffany Stratton run, I'll be pissed. Because we've seen this already with Charlotte. How about this? How about make Charlotte Flair build up to Tiffany Stratton, right? Because then she can help put Tiffany Stratton over. If you enter her in that picture of Tiffany Stratton, Pat, you're basically in a way burying Tiffany Stratton because of the legacy of Charlotte Flair. I digress.
Let me say this. You're not entirely off base. I do agree that I would like to see her program build up to her getting the belt back. I do agree with that, because I want the long game. I want the long form program for Charlotte Flair. I don't want her to just come back and get dropped again into a title match. And just like last time, she even acknowledged it in her promo. She was like, I know people are saying, why is it that I am instantly the #1 contender? And she was like, because I'm Charlotte Flair. That's why. And yeah, she's right. But I get it. I want the long form version of this program for Charlotte Flair, because I don't want it to be, short-lived and then she gives up the belt. I also don't want Tiffy time, which is Josh's boo thing. I don't want my boo thing interfering with his boo thing. I do want it to be a situation where, give her a match or two with Tiffy, let Tiffy win, one or both of those matches, because Charlotte can afford to, drop both of those and not she's bulletproof at this point. But then get her on the third go around in the trilogy and then help build that toward however you're going to build it. But I will say this, Will, while I agree with you in that capacity, I don't really want her aimed at Tiffy time. I really don't.
I'm with you. I don't agree.
I want her aimed at Rhea Ripley. And Josh, you talked about it, and I'll throw this to you after I say this. You talked about it in the last episode coming out of, I believe it was the episode coming out of Bash in Berlin, when you mentioned that Jade Cargill, you mentioned Jade Cargill looks ready for singles competition. Okay. I agree. And that being the case, aim Charlotte at her, right? You got Charlotte coming back, needing to build, right? And you have Jade, who could be fracturing from Bianca in whatever version that looks like. She turns or Bianca turns, whatever, in the next several weeks, next couple of months. I just think it's ready made. And she being Charlotte, she could help Jade get over that final hump that lets us all look at Jade and say, okay, she pinned Charlotte Flair. She is officially ready for singles.
I'm okay. Will, respectfully, the fuck are you talking about, dude?
You
like
heard me.
Charlotte Flair is that
what?
name. It's the marquee name. It is the
Sure.
name that you see in women's World Heavyweight Championship matches. You know what I'm saying? Like that is too big of a name for her to be fighting for an opportunity to possibly be in a champion. Like, she's the name, and that's how it is.
It's like when The Rock comes back.
She's built that legacy because of 14 different title reigns. And granted, a lot of it is the same. I would argue, let's do something different with that spin on it. You know, she comes back, she enters the title picture automatically. Let's say she even wins the Women's Royal Rumble. Oof. She gets to choose whoever she wants, and then you incorporate Tiffany Stratton in that Money in the Bank briefcase.
But that's different, Josh, because she earned it.
I mean, but are we not saying that she? I mean, like, do you want her to be fighting Lyra Valkyria on,
no.
SmackDown? You know what I'm saying? Like,
there are enough top-tier women wrestlers.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I agree. I like Lyra Valkyria, but I'm saying I need that. She needs to be in the mix automatically, and she will be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Of course,
I don't need her versus like the lower tier women's wrestlers, and because she's not going to do it. You know, she's coming back from another injury, so you got to use her sparingly. You have to use her at the big events. There's no doubt in my mind that she will be headlining WrestleMania in the women's division.
Yeah, Josh said, "Don't bring Charlotte Flair back to go up against Wendy Chu." That's what he said.
No, let me elaborate. I don't mean she needs to face Mi Chin to get a chance.
Yeah, she is cooking.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
That's what I thought you were saying. So
no. She can still match up and run programs with the top, but she's just maybe is losing, whether it be because of interference, well, for whatever reason. But because what I've seen for years with Charlotte Flair, she gets put literally right back into a title match. I've seen her walk right out. It's Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch for the title, and she wins it. That's boring to me. That is so boring to me. I would like for her to have some type of program with one of these top. And that's the other thing, is she gonna be heel or face? That's something different too. Run a program with them. Maybe it's a trilogy situation. Maybe she doesn't just win it. I've seen that happen too many times where she comes back, number one contender, wins the title, mediocre reign, gets hurt, drops the title, comes back, wins it. It's the same thing. That's all, Josh and Pat. I just want to see them do something different.
So, and real quick before Katie taps in, my thing is, this is why I do, and Tiffany Stratton is not mid card. Tiffany Stratton is alpha level, right? She's super level stuff. So I'm fine with Tiffy and Charlotte going at it. I'm with Josh in that anything below that stratosphere, I don't want to see. So that's why I'm saying you can aim her at Rhea Ripley, because regardless of if Rhea Ripley has the belt at that time or not, Rhea versus Charlotte is a PLE event, okay? And right now, not quite yet, but Jade versus Charlotte isn't a PLE event yet, but if you make it a program and then they have a trilogy and the first two matches are on SmackDown, they split the difference 1-1, and then now you set up for a Royal Rumble, not Royal Rumble match, but a PLE that's directly after Royal Rumble. But my thing is I'm with both of you. Like, you both are correct. Josh, I don't want to see my queen disrespected by quote unquote having to earn it. I wouldn't call it having to earn it unless you're knocking her down to the bottom of the barrel, right? If you're talking about Tiffy Stratton, Jade Cargill, Liv
Bayley,
Morgan,
Bailey,
Liv, Bailey,
like,
Bailey could definitely use it right now.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about those alpha females, then 100% I agree, Josh. But then that also goes to what Will is saying, in that you don't necessarily have to drop her right into the title match if you play it appropriately.
Yeah, I think you could do some cool stuff with it, but we'll see. Triple H is running things now, so we'll see.
Or it's Charlotte, and to give her time to kind of get her ring rust off. So how about Charlotte? And because we're talking about what happens next with Rhea and Damian, because Damian needs to prove himself outside of Rhea. He's hit his ceiling here, right? I would love to see, we're fantasy booking right now, I would love to see a Rhea Ripley tag with Charlotte when she gets back, and they go up against like Bianca and Jade for the tag titles, something like that. Let's make this fun.
Here's where I need y'all
to
go. Here's where I need y'all to go, because you all make great points, and I love the idea of pointing her at Jade Cargill. That's the best idea that I've heard, that they point her at Jade Cargill to get Jade over to that championship level, put her in that atmosphere. It gives Charlotte the work. It allows Jade to work in that arena, and then you point her towards whatever championship you want to from there. So I love that idea. But let me give you guys this idea. Put Charlotte against Jada Parker. Can we get Jada in the picture?
Oh man,
we can't get no Jada in the picture.
Listen, I just said there are levels to this.
I'm just saying.
I
think
said.
she's ready.
KD, your mark is showing.
She's ready.
Yeah, your mark is showing. KD, don't mark
proudly.
Out. Don't mark
proudly.
Out. But if you are going to mark out,
listen, that's the right one.
That's the one.
That's the one.
You know what I mean?
All right,
that's
but seriously though. What I'm looking forward to is, because you guys, again, so everybody that's watching this knows that I'm just back into wrestling. So I missed the Charlotte Flair era, and something that I was thinking about in combination with our topic of legacy things that we want to bring to the table is that she has a variation of the figure 4 that's known as a figure 8. Mm-hmm. And I've never really seen that in action, but I've heard, I'm old school. I love those old school finisher moves, and that's kind of the conversation that I wanted to have today. Let's talk about our favorite finishers, because for me, it was the figure 4 Ric Flair, right? That was my thing. The Ricky Choshu's Scorpion Death Lot for Sting, and then obviously the Sharpshooter with Bret Hart, right? So those are moves that are from my history. My favorite of all time, though, was Lex Luger and the torture rack. Like when I was growing up, seeing somebody being put in. Yeah, I love that's my thing.
No wonder you like Gunther so much.
Yeah. Exactly. To me, submission moves were like everybody could get a pin, right? So it wasn't so much knocking somebody out, getting a pinfall. For me, it was, okay, what is the one thing that just makes somebody quit? And Lex Luger putting somebody in the torture rack, for me, that was just the peak of WCW days. That's what I enjoyed the most. So let's go around the table. Talk to me about some of your favorite finishers of all time.
KD come from the crossface chicken wing era.
Yeah, that was brutal though. That crossface chicken wing. Yeah, that thing had that arm
clutch. You like
exactly the arm flopping. Exactly.
Yeah, that was real though. So
and shout out, because they actually had. Sorry, they actually had. We talked about it last show, where I talked about, you're going to sleep and they raise your arm twice. They actually put that in the show the other day. So I actually saw that on the women's side. They had somebody, I think it was Kalani, with
he didn't raise it 3. He didn't do 3 times.
No, they didn't do a 3.
He did it 1, and then she dropped.
Yeah, and then she So
and
that raised. They're getting there. They're building back up to what I know. So anyway, yes, go ahead, Josh. Talk to me about your favorite finishers.
Well, to piggyback of what you're talking about, if we're talking finishing or submission moves really quick, shout out, and this is the wrestler who should not be named, but I'm going to name him on this podcast because
I know what you were going to say.
CB.
I have it written down right here, Josh.
CB. He's going to say
I don't want to steal your
CB.
thunder. I don't want to steal your thunder, but if we're talking submission moves, the greatest finishing move of all time is the crippler crossface from Chris Benoit.
I got it written down right here. Crippler crossface is the best submission.
Devastating.
Move ever, bro.
Absolutely devastating. And I did that on my brother every day, every single day, without fail. 3:00, as soon as he gets home.
It hurts for real, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the
I
worst.
think that's why I love the figure four so much, because my older cousin put me in it, and I limped for a long time. Like he really put me on it. Like he's like 7 years older than me. It was really unfair. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so finishing moves. I'm going to start off with an obvious pick here, but for me, it is mostly about how it's used. The finish of the match, the way that the match ends, using this finisher every single time it happens, it is the most hype of any wrestler in any time period. I'm going to go with the Stone Cold Stunner, Stone Cold Steve Austin. For me, the matches that he ended with that stunner, obviously, a lot of them included The Rock, but Triple H,
The best seller of the Stone
best
Cold
seller
Stunner,
of the Stone Cold
by the
Stunner.
way.
Absolutely. No, I know about that.
100%. But Shawn Michaels WrestleMania, I mean that stunner, man, like it is such a
started an era.
Oh, it is such a golden move. Nobody should be able to kick out of two of those. When he does them consecutively back to back, it's hard for me to see another finishing move even come close to it. Now, another finishing move that for me, so the stunner was like the kind of the gold standard. I loved Rock Bottom, of course, because that was my favorite wrestler. However, I don't think I ever saw another finishing move as devastating as the stunner until I saw Brock Lesnar for the very first time use the F5. To me, that was groundbreaking. I had never seen a move like that before, and when he did it at like 24 years old or some shit, it was genuinely groundbreaking for me. The F5 and the Stone Cold Stunner, both of those finishing moves are kind of tied for my top overall.
I feel like I'm on an island here when it comes to the F5. I always thought the F5 was quite mid. And this is not obviously this is not a knock to Brock. Brock is one of the greatest ever. He's an absolute fucking monster. But in the realm of most impressive submissions or powerful finishers, where it's just like, God damn, the F5 never really made me say God damn. Like I was just like, oh, that's nice. But I'm thinking of
the next big thing era when he started to do it to
Ruthless
everybody.
aggression. It was devastating when he did it. He made it look crazy.
Fair, but for me, it still was kind of mid. And for me, it loses out to a similar finisher in the Attitude Adjustment from John Cena. Right. I think the Attitude Adjustment was brutal, but I'm going to run down my little list here. And it was really hard because I'm not only a wrestling nerd, but, this is going all the way back. And I mean, God, man, if you see me looking over to the sides, because I'm looking at this list right now, but I'm going to run down it. I have 10. I'm going to go quickly 10. And then I have like some honorable mentions. So my number, and this is unranked with the exception of the top two. Okay. So number one is the Stone Cold Stunner. I agree with you, Josh. Rock Bottom is my number 2, goes without saying. Now the rest of them are unranked. RKO / Diamond Cutter. It's basically the same move. So I got to give credit to both Diamond Dallas Page, who was the originator of it, and Randy Orton, who turned it into RKO out of nowhere. Right. Sweet Chin Music. I hate that it's been whored out.
Pat's ruining it. He's about to name them all.
No, I'm not. I'm just.
You should have gone last. You got a list of 10. You were supposed to go last.
Okay, I'm gonna go last then. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna pause, and I'm gonna let Will go. I'm gonna let Will go. Listen, I'm nerding out, man. This is a category I've been waiting my whole life. You jump on a podcast about.
You're gonna go back to 1973 with shit. So you gotta let Steel get some thunder.
I'm gonna let Will go.
This is a perfect pause. This is the perfect pause because you brought up Sweet Chin Music, and shouts out, Josh. I have the stunner here as well. F5 number 2. But 1A is the Sweet Chin Music. And I think right now it has been given, the super kick is so overused that it doesn't matter 100%. Anymore. But back when 100%. We have to put ourselves back then, right?
Thank you.
When you tuned up the band.
If
he connected, it was over. I mean, you didn't really see many people kicking out from the Sweet Chin Music. And you talk about devastating. I mean, you hear and it was like, oh, dog, his teeth are knocked out here, man. And then he came back on what was that, his second run where he got sober and much better. And he was hitting people with Sweet Chin Music off the ropes. I met Shelton Benjamin off the ropes, and he just reinvented himself in that manner. The Sweet Chin Music, and I'm being biased, straight up gonna be honest with y'all. Him and Stone Cold, my favorite of all time. And that move, to me, before it was overused, when I saw that happen, I thought, night, it's over. So I just want to stop there on Sweet Chin Music. I could bring up some other ones that were, stylistically look great.
No, keep going.
We'll go back.
Cool.
Let me interrupt real quickly because I was doing my research for the show, and y'all know one of the early episodes that we did on this, I talked about the fact that kicks to the face, the pop, for whatever reason, that is like the most intoxicating regular move that people do for me when I'm watching. Like I talk all the time, I complain, half of the women, their punches look lazy and it's just not really convincing. But the kicks for men, for women, it doesn't matter. You put a goddamn kangaroo in there and I'm gonna go crazy when you hit a real vicious ass kick. And in watching in prep for this show and watching all the finishers, I learned that the Sweet Chin Music, that he really did just bring that out of the ether to make it become the staple that it is today. There's not a wrestler that doesn't do a super kick right now. Like I haven't seen a match without a super kick. And he's the man. So I love
I'm getting chills.
Dude, Damian Priest did it last night.
Everybody does it. When he who I forget who it was, but Sweet Chin Music, Bret Hart, I think it was, Sweet Chin Music, and he falls out because he's exhausted over top of him. 1, 2, 3, the boyhood dream has come true. I mean, man, it's just an amazing. It's the best to me. But is it the most devastating? There's so many other ones. RKO's up there. You guys mentioned it, but stylistically, I like the way the Styles Clash looks. It's kind of cool how he does it, and he gets it on bigger guys. And AJ Styles not a big dude, so I kind of like that too. And then Johnny Morrison, I cannot remember what his move was called, but his move was amazing. You guys go look. He does some type of 450 types. I don't know if it's a 450. He does some crazy splash off the where he has both of his legs up. I think it's called like the Starship or something.
Starship Pain.
Yes. Go look up the way he does it. I think that looks very cool as well. I don't know if it delivers, but as devastating, this is going to sound boring, and I'm done. The most devastating looking move I've ever seen, and this dude almost killed somebody, was Yokozuna's Banzai drop. I thought that should have been outlawed. The dude was entirely too big. He could break somebody's neck. Now he was a pro, so he knew how to plant and finish without making it hurting the guys. But KD, go look up Banzai drop. Look at
he could shatter your damn sternum.
And I know KD
some lungs, bro.
Boys. KD likes those big boys, so he'll enjoy this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you like, look up Earthquake, look up Vader, Yokozuna. They all have some big boy finishes.
Just consider it this way: the Annihilator, if Nia Jax weighed 3 times as much as she does.
Yeah. Jesus. And that's literally landing on people, fam.
And literally landed on people.
So I take it when we get to patch list, we're not going to hear anything about like a Goldberg one move spear. Like that's all he has.
You're not going to hear a spear from me.
Not going to make the
no,
list.
because it was the combo. That's a whole different conversation. It's the spear plus the jackhammer. That is devastating.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But the spear alone is that it's vicious, but it's not in the realm of legendary finishers. It's like nah.
When Edge started using the spear, it totally ruined it for me.
The only one I really like from spear, I mean, I like them, but when you used to hear Rhino's gore, I don't know, it felt better to me because Rhino wasn't a bigger guy. He was a stocky, short dude. So when he speared you, it was like his whole body was just, you know what I mean, inserted into your sternum. So it meant more. But Edge spearing, come on, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's what you got, Will. That's you. Okay,
I'm not going. Yeah, I'm done. I just want to talk about the Sweet Chin Music. That's
okay. Because I'm not even going to apologize for having a list because I fucking love wrestling.
I feel you, bro. I feel
and it just is what it is. That's what we're here for. We're gonna talk about this shit, right? So, Stunner 1, Rock Bottom 2, RKO, Diamond Cutter. After 1 and 2, it's not ranked. Sweet Chin Music, and I got to add this to what Will was saying about Sweet Chin Music. You got to look at the time frame in which it originated. Right, you got to look at how it was being executed. It was one of one at the time. It was an absolute killer. Like once you got hit in the mouth with that move, it was done. But then also look at the aura around the origination of it. I'm talking the turn against Marty Jannetty and Brutus the Barber Beefcake's barbershop. Okay, that was the first time we ever saw Sweet Chin Music, and it didn't have a name at that point. It was just a kick to his fucking mouth before he got tossed through that glass. Right, before he got tossed through that glass, and then it became Sweet Chin Music, and it went off from there. So 100%, and I'm right there. 1A, 1B on any given day for me. Favorite wrestlers are Shawn Michaels and The Rock. And today it could be Shawn being 1A. Tomorrow it could be The Rock. I go back and forth all the time.
I do say day with Stone Cold. Yeah.
So I got a Tombstone Power Driver, 100%. Undertaker, you already know.
That's a devastating one.
Yeah, we got the pedigree from Triple H. Gotta have it when he puts your arms up and all you can do is just stare at the ground as you go. Oh man, that's nasty. Razor's Edge. Shout out to the bad guy. Rest in peace to the great one. Walls of Jericho. Why nobody said Walls of Jericho?
The Lion Tamer submission hurts. That
really fair. Okay, Walls of Jericho though. Now we talking submissions. Like oh boy. I put my brother in the Walls of Jericho one time and strained his neck. He had to go to the hospital. Yeah, I was trying to fuck him up.
That's a vicious submission, bro. Like,
yeah, Walls of Jericho is
nasty. A bunch of times in doing that,
especially when you put the body weight, on the curve of the back.
When you put the knee in the back, it's over.
Yeah, it's over. Let's see. I got like we all agree, figure 4, but I also put /figure 8 because I love Charlotte's variation of it. She starts in the figure 4, but she doesn't always go to the figure 8. But when she goes to the figure 8, that's how you know she's not shitting around. That's how you know she's having a hard time with this opponent, and enough is enough. Shout out to Charlotte Flair. Sharpshooter. We got to put Bret Hart's out there. Sharpshooter. So good that even when The Rock did it, it didn't lose any of its aura. Sharpshooter submitted a whole lot of people, and that shit was painful too because I talk about putting my brother in the Walls of Jericho. He put me in the sharpshooter one time. I didn't just tap out. I was crying for grandma. He ended up getting his ass whooped that day because I was like, let me out. Let me out. This shit real. Let me out. Get the straps. And she did. Because that back then we would get our ass whooped. All right. So then here come my honorable mentions. Styles Clash, like Will said. Torture Rack, like Katie said, absolutely. Bonsai Drop, we talked about that. Crippler Crossface, absolutely. And then a couple more. Mandible Claw. Give me some Mankind, man. Mandible Claw was nasty, especially if you got those two fingers all the way back to the esophagus. Oh, they were gagging, and that spit, that foam that was coming up. Oh, that was real. That was real. And I'm gonna go with a couple of newbies, not new necessarily, but recent wrestling history. I said this once on Twitter, and I'm gonna say it again. The KOD from Bianca is nasty work. Especially with her power, the way that she drives them into the mat. So KOD, and let's go over to NXT. Let's give NXT some love. Love you, Jada, but this one goes to Soul Ruka. The Soul Snatcher is one of the nastiest, most finesseful, most aura-filled finishers I've seen in the history of wrestling, and she's just in NXT, still starting her career. So if you look at the degree of difficulty for the Soul Ruka, and then the times I've seen her landed off of the top rope, where it's just like, if the op didn't tuck their head at the right time, they're going to the fucking hospital. If one botch on the Soul Snatcher and your career is probably done. So it's just
that move based off of anything? Is that a
no? I've never seen anybody do that.
Original?
Yeah, that's a one of one. And again, wrestling has so many decades and so much history that it's quite possible that maybe on an independent circuit, maybe in New Japan, maybe on the Lucha Libre, it's possible that it was somewhere. It's possible that it originated somewhere, but I'm not aware of that. So based on my awareness, it's a one of one.
Fair enough.
Quickly on because we didn't mention any type of like power bombs, the jackknife power bomb, which
jackknife power bomb,
but Diesel, there's a lot of those. Like
Kevin
Diesel
Nash,
does it,
Diesel,
Psycho Sid did it.
Rest in peace, Psycho.
I think Dave Bautista had the best power bomb of all of them because he would come to you on the ground with you. So, it looked good. It was for real. Batista was I think he was one of the best looking wrestlers of all time. He just had the look. He just always believed.
Give me what I want.
Yeah, he's a legitimate animal. Like he was a legitimate animal.
He really was.
And I don't think he gets his dues much, but I wanted to bring that up. And we kind of glossed over it. And I don't want to gloss over before we go, but dog, the RKO is so damn good. I mean,
I didn't gloss. I had it up there.
We ranked it, but we was like, yeah, RKO kept it moving. I even did that. But bro, the way he can hit that from anywhere, it's just so. Was it Evan Bourne or whatever his name is, where he flips off the rope and he catches him midair? I mean, the RKO is so good. I know it's the diamond cutter. variation, but he made that to me maybe the most popular finisher, not named, and it might be more popular, the Stone Cold Stunner, which, by the way, when Stone Cold did one of these and hit you with the stunner, lights out, over. Loved it.
Yeah. I mean, RKO, like I said, originates with the diamond cutter. That's why you got to give love to DDP 100%. WCW days, right. Bang. But the RKO, I mean, we've seen guys try to get Randy, like he's laying on the mat, they'll climb up to the top turnbuckle, and that's a setup, and they don't even realize it. So by the time they're in midair, he's getting up, and then just RKO come down with the gravity and with their weight. And just
shouts to Evan Bourne for the greatest RKO cell
that
ever.
Evan Bourne one was crazy.
Yeah, 100%. It's so many, man.
From like, what was it, 20, whatever it was, with
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, where he's
the one that they banned, the version they banned.
Oh my goodness.
The version they banned. Now, Katie, you don't know about this one, but originally Seth Rollins' stomp, the one that you see now, it's a revised version. Like he takes a lot off of it now because he was giving guys concussions and knocking teeth out.
Yeah, he was,
and they banned his
from the air,
and they banned his finisher for a while, and then they were like, you can never do this
again.
He started
doing the pedigree,
right? Unless you start like actually not trying to kill people. So that was
KD, go look up
if he dies,
RKO.
If he dies, he dies.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wind up this episode. We have to push some things off until our next episode, including our start to spin up for the next PLE, which is going to be Bad Blood. So I'm going to leave us with this one-word answer question. Go around the table. We're going to go to Josh first, then Steele, then No C. After this weekend, where we had both No Mercy and Bash in Berlin, it took me back to a couple months ago when we had Heat Wave and Money in the Bank.
Yep.
And I posed to you the question, when they have PLEs on back-to-back days, which doesn't happen with the Big Four or anything like that, but when they have these back-to-back Superstars,
Takeovers,
NXT PLEs, is NXT winning the weekend, Josh?
Ooh, that's a great question. This weekend, I don't believe so. I think it has been kind of flip-flopping, but I'll say that.
You preferred Bash over No Mercy this weekend?
Yes.
Okay. Steele?
I agree. I thought Bash was really good. I told you I gave it a B+, A- of the show. I think there was just one kind of not top tier match, but I like Bash over No Mercy. So
No C.
For the second consecutive multi-PLE weekend where you had WWE versus NXT, for me NXT won again. I gave Bash a B. I give No Mercy an A+. It was phenomenal, especially the ending with Trick Williams and that whole 100%. Oba and that. So NXT won again. Shawn Michaels, you're up 2-0 right now.
To me, since I've been here, I agree. I thought that No Mercy was as close to a perfect PLE as you could have. Like, I had no notes for No Mercy. And again, back new to this, so take it with a grain of salt, whatever you want to consider. But I love that. So
I agree,
we're out of here. We're going to come back next week. We're going to be again spinning towards Bad Blood. We can't wait. We're rocking right now. You know what it is. We're out of here. Salute.